This cassette costs over £600 or $750, which is mind-blowingly expensive and means you never, ever, 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 ever want to let your chain become so worn to the point that it wears out your cassette. So in this maintenance video, I want to once again highlight the importance of chain wear and help you understand it so that you can avoid expensive repair bills. Whilst this is possibly one of the most expensive cassettes in the world, not all cassettes and components have to cost this much. Although broadly speaking, the cost of cassettes and components in general have crept up over time, and that applies to all different levels of components, which means it is more important than ever before to make sure you're getting the best longevity from all of the components on your bike to help save you some money. Now, the components fitted to my bike, understandably, are the top tier components, which are going to cost more, but in theory, the design and quality of the materials used should mean they perform well over an increased period of time. However, if you neglect the components, just like anything else, repair bills are going to come at you thick and fast. Now, in the past, I've spoken to industry experts on this subject, such as Adam from Zero Friction Cycling and Josh Portner from Silka, who have explained that through correct care and maintenance for your chain and using suitable products, you can extend the life of your chain by up to 10 times, which is going to be fantastic not only for your wallet, but helping keep parts out of the rubbish bin. Now, 10 times is the case for best to worst case scenario, but you kind of know what I mean. Now, before you run to the shops and spend all your hard-earned cash on the most expensive bike cleaners, lubricants and oils that you can get your hands on, the first and most important step to increase the longevity of components is to simply keep them nice and clean and correctly lubricated. Now, this is the biggest step to improving longevity of components. Once you've got the cleaning, care and maintenance section sorted, next you can move on to the other important aspect, and that is the type of products that you use. Now, here at GCNTech and GCN, we are proudly supported by Silka, and independent testing has shown some of their products to be among the best out there in terms of efficiency and longevity. Now, the high-performance oils, such as what's used in the Synergetic or the wax-based drip-on lubricant, are not only going to help keep everything clean, but they're also going to reduce friction as much as possible. Now, there are lots of other brands out there. Some perform better and worse than others, and if you want to see how the products that you use stack up, well, Adam over at Zero Friction Cycling has created a huge product chart where you can see how the product you use compares to all the different options out there. Word of warning though, you're probably going to lose days of your life reading through all that. Lower grade oils and products simply don't have the same friction reducing qualities as premium grade ones. Not only that, but also in terms of cleanliness too, because keeping your chain free from contaminants is also one massive piece of the puzzle here. And this is one of the big tricks that using a wax-based product has up its sleeve, because as it sets on your chain, over time as the chain becomes dirty and the chain cycles through the drivetrain system, small sections of wax flake off, and then with it, it takes the dirt, helping to keep everything clean and running smooth. So, in theory and within reason, if you never let your chain become too worn, you're pretty much never going to wear your cassette out either. Now, the term chain stretch is actually a very misleading one, which people regularly use. And what we're actually referring to when we're talking about chain stretch or wear is the elongation and the increased pitch between the pins and the rollers and the pitch of your chain. Now, your chain never actually stretches. It doesn't matter how strong you are, the links and the pins and the rollers are not actually getting any longer. What is happening is that there is accelerated wear and the material is literally wearing away on the pins and on the inner links, which means over time, there's less material there, so the pitch of the chain will gradually increase. That is what we're trying to measure with something like this, which is a chain checker. It's simply a way of monitoring that wear rate in a percentage term of how much longer your chain has got. General rule of thumb is that for single speed chains, a wear rate of 1% is about when you should change it. For 10 speed chains or less, you're looking at 0.75% wear. And then for 11 speed or more, your chain needs to be changed when it reaches 0.5% stretch. Now, What does that actually mean? Well, in simple terms, you can also measure this with a ruler. So what you want to know is that the distance between 24 rivets on your chain should measure 12 inches. Now you can simply get a ruler, hold it up and measure along 24 rivets, and that should be 12 inches. Anything over 12 inches and 1/16 of an inch, well, you need to replace your chain. Now, that method does leave quite a bit of user error there, hence why brands like Park Tools have made chain checkers to make life extra easy. Now, one thing I want to clear up is that your cassette doesn't actually become worn just from your chain passing over it. Your cassette will become worn because your chain has become worn, and therefore the pitch of your chain, so the distance between the pins and the rollers, has increased, which means your chain will mesh poorly in the teeth of your cassette, and therefore it will accelerate the rate of wear. There are other reasons that could also cause the cassette to wear, such as shifting under load and poorly timed shifting, but that's really having far less of an impact. And then just to confuse things even more, SRAM recommend replacing their chains at 0.8% wear, which in my experience and expertise is probably a little bit longer than I would feel comfortable with. I would replace my chain much closer to the 0.5% wear marker and err on the side of caution, which means you're just going to replace a chain at perhaps a cost of, say, 50 to 100 pounds, euros or dollars, which seems a much nicer option than replacing the expensive cassette as well. However, top tier chains, such as those from SRAM with their SRAM Red and Force chains, do have an additional trick up their sleeve, and that is a hard chrome treatment on them. Now this is really going to increase the life that you get from your chain compared to some lower tier options out there. Now the price understandably does cost a bit more, but in terms of the wear life that you're going to get from the components, it seems a really good value for money option. Now lots of different brands will have similar technologies, but if you compared something like a hard chrome SRAM treated chain to a lower tier rival one, you can expect to get at least double the longevity out of it. So once again, I really want to drill it home about the importance of not only correct chain maintenance, but also correct chain checking. Now this is particularly important if, like me, you're lucky enough to have fancy expensive components, but it applies to all levels of bikes, because at the end of the day, if we can make the components on our bikes last longer, it's going to save us money and save the planet, because less components like this are going straight into the bin. Now, I have explained that there are different products out there, such as oil-based ones and wax-based ones, and this really is where wax-based products have an additional trick up their sleeve, because not only do they shed some of the wax flakes off, which helps keep the chain cleaner, when it actually comes to regular cleaning and maintenance, typically you can clean a wax chain without having to use any strong solvents or degreasers, because you can simply use hot, mild soapy water to melt the wax off and make everything clean and tidy, ready to reapply the wax again. So it's kind of like a twofold saving. You haven't had to buy degreasers, you're going to make your chain last longer, which means your components are going to save longer, and then it's going to save you more money. Honestly, I've said it a million times before, but it really is super important to keep on top of chain wear and checking and regular maintenance. Anyway, hope this has really cleared up a few common misconceptions and made it super clear for everyone at home. And the moral of the story is, invest in a simple, cheap tool such as a chain checker to help make your life easy. Hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you have, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments section down below how regularly you check your chain and what kind of wear percentage you feel comfortable replacing your chain at. Also, if you want to help support our channel, subscribe to GCNTech and turn on notifications. I'm out of it. Love you, bye.